Leon Marshall, Resistance Chicks. We come to you on March 15, 2017. We come to you from North Korea.
Yes. I tried to do a North Korean accent. It wasn't going over real well. So, well, I won't butcher it, but we'll let Kim Jong Il do all the butchering.
Kim Jong Il. Oh, good joke. That's a really good one.
Okay, so actually what I really want to show you is a really emotional account of a young North Korean girl who lived under this horrible dictatorship. And
calling it communist is kind of an understatement.
I want you to give you an idea of what she came out of, because I want you to stay and I want you to listen to her words.
Yes.
But I want to give you
powerful.
just a little bit more of a background so that you really know. And so we're going to read right now there's a lot of stuff going on over there in Asia. Trump has had some harsh words for China economically, but you have to recognize that China is actually like the only friend of North Korea. Okay? And
when you kind of go killing everybody, then nobody's going to be your friend.
When people try to flee North Korea,
unless you're a Muslim,
that China will send them back to North Korea. I mean, and what I really wanted to point out here was the North Koreans are real refugees.
Yes.
Okay, there's a difference between like having a war in your land and most of the migrants coming in, you saw them, they were healthy, they were mentally sound, okay, into Europe, those young men. They weren't brutally oppressed by...
Well, I think also the difference is that the different Middle Eastern refugees that are coming over that happen to have Muslim faiths are coming here, and they are more than happy to keep their Muslim faith. As a matter of fact, they would like to implement their Muslim faith and laws wherever they live. The people that are fleeing North Korea do not want to bring over the fact that they can't watch anything but one state television program and you can get executed for watching a movie.
It's a political mindset. When you're leaving the political mindset that goes against your values, which is just human rights, okay, that's when you have the right to leave.
Then we got a problem, and then you're a refugee, and then you are welcome here.
That's what makes me
the vetting process.
Really angry when we talk about refugees. So,
yes. Real refugees here.
Soon after Donald Trump's inauguration, a joke made the rounds on Twitter, picturing a laughing, spiky-haired Kim Jong Il, which said, "I'm no longer the craziest leader." It was funny for a moment. Then the North Korean dictator, go ahead.
Of the North Korean dictator, has proceeded to show that he remains unchallenged for the title. He has taunted his neighbors with new ballistic missile tests and staged an extraordinary plot to assassinate his half-brother with a nerve gas agent. You can't make this stuff up. Kind of sounds like a bad novel.
So, not only that, he's in North Korea, there is no real life. The children leave there and they literally think that their leader can read their minds. And
like Santa Claus.
Millions of people are starving. They have concentration camps. He actually has obliterated his uncle for supposed crimes against the state and executed his ex-girlfriend.
That's weird.
It's called murder. Okay, so now I want to go to...
Hang on, wait, I want to read this just because this is hilarious. The list of eccentricities is long. Among them, he is the only general in the world with no military experience. He got plastic surgery to look more like his grandfather. He has issued the execution of people via mortar rounds. He's obsessed with Michael Jordan. Had his uncle obliterated for supporting crimes against the state, and even executed his ex-girlfriend. I felt like that whole paragraph was kind of interesting.
Yes, exactly. So,
special kind of fella.
Right now, in the news today, the United States is doing some
military exercises
with South Korea, and China is not really happy about this. And
I'm assuming North Korea's not happy about it either.
Right. So actually, play this little clip here.
I'm Paula Hancock's in Seoul. It's been in the works for months, but now a US defense system that's designed to shoot down missiles from North Korea is here in South Korea. The first elements of THAAD have been flown in on Monday night. Just hours after, in fact, Pyongyang launched 4 ballistic missiles which landed in the waters off Japan, defying international sanctions. Now, the US and South Korean defense ministers spoke last week. They said they wanted this to happen as soon as possible. The official line at this point is it'll be fully operational as early as July. Now, opinion here in South Korea is split. The military wants it, opposition parties don't want it, the residents who will be living next to the system don't want it, but certainly there are others in the region who are not happy. Let's go to Matt Rivers in Beijing.
Simply put, Beijing is not happy with this deployment. In fact, you could argue that they're probably downright angry about it.
Well, and that's just because the Chinese are friends with a crazy maniac.
And we should, and so I think you're going to go right into that next video.
Yeah.
Of her. So this will explain to you why China being friends with a nation that has done such atrocities is a big deal.
Right.
What does it start off by saying? This girl fled North Korea, and her story will make you realize how precious freedom is.
I have to do this because this is not I'm speaking.
It's not just me speaking.
No, she's
people who want to tell the world what they want to do. North Korea is an unimaginable country. There is only one channel on TV. There is no internet. We aren't free to sing, say, wear, or think what we want. North Korea is the only country in the world that executes people for making unauthorized international phone calls. North Koreans are being terrorized today. When I was growing up in North Korea, I never saw anything about love stories between men and women. No books, no songs, no press, no movies about love stories. There's no Romeo and Juliet. Every story was propaganda to brainwashes about the Kim dictators. I was born in 1993, and I was abducted at birth, even before I knew the words freedom or human rights. North Koreans are desperately seeking and dying for freedom at this moment. When I was 9 years old, I saw my friend's mother publicly executed. Her crime, watching a Hollywood movie, expressing doubt about the greatness of the regime can get 3 generations of a family imprisoned or executed. When I was 4 years old, I was warned by my mother not to even whisper. The birds and mice couldn't hear me. I admitted I thought the North Korean dictator could read my mind. My father died in China after we escaped North Korea, and I had to bury him at 3 a.m. in sacred. I was 14 years old. I couldn't even cry. I was afraid to be sent back to North Korea. The day I escaped North Korea, I saw my mother raped. The rapist was a Chinese broker. He targeted me. I was 13 years old. There is a saying in North Korea, women are weak, but mothers are strong. My mother allowed herself to be raped in order to protect me. North Korean refugees, about 300,000, are vulnerable in China. 70% of North Korean and teenage girls are being victimized, sometimes sold for as little as $200. We walked across the Gobi Desert, following a compass. When they stopped working, we followed the stars to freedom. Only the stars were with us. Mongolia was our freedom moment. Death or dignity. Under the knives, we were prepared to kill ourselves if we were going to be sent back to North Korea. We wanted to live as humans. People often ask me, how can we help North Koreans? There are many ways, but I would like to mention 3 for now. 1. Educate yourself so you can raise awareness about human crisis in North Korea. 2. Help and support North Korean refugees who are trying to escape to freedom. 3. Petition China's stop repatriation. We have to shed light on the darkest place in the world. It isn't just North Korean human rights. It's our rights that North Korean dictators have violated for 7 decades. We need governments all around the world to put more pressure on China to stop repatriation. In particular, Chinese delegates of the young world can play a part by speaking up. North Korea is indescribable. No humans deserve to be oppressed just because of their birthplace. We need to focus less on the regime and more on the people who are being forgotten. One young world, we are the ones who will make them visible. Fellow delegates, please join me as we make this a global movement to free North Koreans.
Okay, so lots of things go through in my mind with that. Number one, when I see the women and people in America doing their petitions and riding in the streets and demanding equal rights.
Women's marches and everything.
I do get upset and I do get angry, and the best way to overcome them is there are issues and we can't put our heads in the sand.
Right.
And we have to speak out. So when you see someone come out and say, listen, I was a refugee, I needed out, I'm a woman and I needed out and I needed help, and not just me but my father and my uncles and my cousins and my they're all being persecuted
as part of the resistance, because that's what we are, the resistance chicks. You guys are the resistance. You guys are always asking, what can we do? Instead of being on the defensive of, oh, there's a women's march and we go, and of course we're going to keep covering that sort of thing, but more importantly, go on the offensive and bring awareness to these sorts of things to open the eyes of people to shift off of themselves. Because that's all that the Women's March is doing. It's a very self-centered kind of agenda, whereas instead of being proactive for something like this, it's all about me, it's all about us, it's all about, as our country, our government doesn't need to be focused on other nations and fixing them, but as a people, we do.
And what boggles my mind right now is that these are Asians, and the country nearest them, China, is a communist country, but she saw China as a place of freedom. So that just goes to show you just how bad North Korea is, because China, we met a young man come and stay at our house. His name was Chi. He did this bicycle trip, and he's been bicycling in Afghanistan, and he just crazy.
He's doing videos, and
but he never knew about Jesus. He'd never heard who Jesus was.
Never
had heard. You have to at least have the choice to hear about about religions, right? He had never heard who Jesus was. He had heard of a thing called a Santa Claus, but that was it. So
their internet was, this girl probably didn't, no way she had internet. I mean, she can't even watch anything but one state program. So the internet is but in China, they have, their internet is kind of censored.
I mean, they're not even, Zuckerberg is trying to go into China. He's like, okay, we'll censor Facebook, whatever, you know. So my point is there's a lot of things that need to be spoken about, and there's people, there are refugees, you guys, and we need to be able to help them.
Yeah, as a nation, yes.
And when you see somebody leaving an oppressed country like this, then yes, okay? But you've got what's happened. You can't take in everybody in the Middle East, Iraq, Iran, and all these places because the Muslims are going to keep fighting other Muslims. That's what they do.
Right.
That's
forever. That's what they have
do.
always done. That's what they're going to continue to do.
Okay, this is a dictatorship.
It's only been around for roughly 7 generations, but for 7 generations, North Korea has been...
It was actually under Japan, the North Korean dictator was their revolutionary leader, along with the USSR at the time. And the USSR is no longer communist, but this dictator has this country wrapped up, and he's a crazy, evil man. Evil man.
Listen, like we've
all
said
these
this before.
commie dictators are just like the Islamic dictators. But these commie dictators are crazy, evil men. And we've got Obama and things like that. Oh, let's just talk to Hugo Chavez. Let's go down to Cuba and have a few cigars.
There's real refugees in the world that need our help. There's only so much room in the United States. And to be perfectly honest, it has almost always been the United States policy to take in refugees from people that are really being persecuted, that are and to put them at the top of the list.
Right.
That is what you do. And that's what needs to happen.
When your religious beliefs, or when you're being persecuted in your life, not unfortunately for economic distress.
Right. That's not a reason to be a refugee, I'm sorry.
That's not the definition of a refugee.
Right. Just because you're coming from a poor nation and life isn't good, that's when you can come and become an immigrant.
Right.
Right, and then you got to go through that process. You guys know how that works.
Okay,
but for a refugee, this is where our focus should be. Things like this, issues like this. So if you guys are looking to take up a cause, this seems like a pretty good one to me.
And know that these young people, you know that they're not going to be terrorists. You just know it.
Yeah.
You know it. That's a refugee is coming to your country for a place of safety.
Right.
Okay, so yes, there's going to have to be stronger vetting from other countries, whereas you're not going to need the strong vetting.
No.
From these people. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Some things just go without saying. All right, you guys, this is Lee Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it's not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications and find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love you guys. God bless.
I was cold all alone, no place for home, every day so afraid, but you called my name.